Mm. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a warm night in Washington, D.C., home of America's swamp. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First to the Republican and the Socialists. It is hot. This is our first really high temperature and moisture through humidity kind of night in D.C. First real, I know that we have, I think maybe one or two during the spring, but we're in the middle of June and this is our first real 90-degree day, I tell you. It's supposed to drop back down over the weekend, so I won't complain. What did Mary say? Mary says, wow, I can't tell the tie from the shirt. There you go. I thought I was making a statement here. It is hot. It is very, very hot. So glad to have you all here tonight. It is Monday night in the nation's capital. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then the Socialists. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital again. And Mary Brockman, my bouncer, is in the chat roll. I love her dearly. Others will be joining us soon. We have a very special guest that will be joining us at about 9:10. Eric Wallace, who happens to be the publisher of Freedom Journal, Dr. Eric Wallace. And he has a big event coming up in Washington, D.C. at the end of this week. And we will be talking with him about that event, as well as the state of the black family in America and why there is some reason for concern. Also, we will be turning our eyes and our ears to none other than the Bloviating Zeppelin, Sir Mark, from the Bloviatingzeppelin.net. In the second hour, we will be talking about Comey and a many other thing. And also, before the turn of the second half of the program, I want to talk with you all about community lending and why you won't hear the Democrats jumping for joy for what Steve Mnuchin has done at the Treasury Department. They are awaiting a report that will come out later on today regarding community lending and the change of the Volcker rule. We'll talk about that in our second half of this first hour. I want you all to know that we have a multitude of great giftings and strengths at TECN. And one of those great gifts left us today, and we applaud him on his success. And God bless his departure. Of course, none other than Ron Edwards. We love him dearly. We wish him the very best, but he decided to move over to High Plains Pundit Media, and we'll be broadcasting on Blog Talk Radio there. So we wish him the very, very best and greatest success, and he will be, I believe, every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday broadcasting for High Plains Pundit Media at 6 p.m. We wish them the very best. There will be a few others that will be leaving us and departing for either SHR Media or High Plains Pundit. We wish them the greatest success as we prepare for TECN TV. I'm telling you, it is hot. HAWT, y'all. You know how we get this party started, ladies and gentlemen. We, of course, let our children take the lead in the Pledge of Allegiance. We ask only that you lift your right hand, put it over your heart, take your hats off, find a flag. Those watching us on live stream can see it right over here. Ustream right behind me, and everyone else. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, I recommend highly. Let your children do that at home before they go to school. You never know what they will encounter accordingly. Now, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, so glad to have you here tonight. We are about to contact Dr. Eric Wallace. Dr. Eric Wallace, we hope that you are enjoying our broadcasting. There are some changes in preparation for TECN TV. I'll go over that with you in the second half of this particular program. Woo! Hallelujah. It is hot. HAWT. One Mississippi, two Mississippi.
Hi, thank you for calling. You have reached 708-991.
That is Dr. Wallace. Apparently, we have not connected with him. We will attempt to get him a little bit later. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, being the reputable, brilliant man that I am, I make it up as I go on. Yeah. One of the things I want to talk with you about is happening even as we speak, and that is some of the changes that are happening through our Treasury Department. And part of that is the concern regarding our national debt. Apparently, we have enough money based on what we know, according to the Treasury Department, to make it through August. And there have been those who have been prophesying that the Trump budget is one of those things that would help us eliminate the national debt within a couple of decades. We hope so. We hope so indeed. But our national debt is quickly moving into the stratosphere. And quite frankly, right now, the national debt is at $19.8 trillion. $19.8 trillion. I don't know about you, but I couldn't carry a car right now at $19,800. Right. Part of that national debt comes from, of course, debt held by the public, Treasury securities, and held by investors, and the Federal Reserve, and state and local governments, and you, the individual investor. And some of that is debt that is held by the government itself. Part of that is produced by extraordinary expenditure versus the amount of money that's brought in terms of revenue. Now, mind you, we have received a great deal of revenue into the coffers of our Internal Revenue Service and our Treasury Department. However, it does not keep up with the amount of outstanding debt. We haven't had a surplus in over a decade. We haven't had a balanced budget in more than 2 decades. So literally, we are working our way into a point where the growth of our debt is greater than the growth of the prosperity of our citizen body. You all are well aware of the national debt clocks and things of that particular nature. And it is something that I take a look at every once in a while. There are those who tell us that we can handle this kind of debt. The national debt is not a problem. I mean, we got money that's coming in, we tax, and we don't spend as much, although we spend a whole lot. Back in November of 2016, the debt that was held by the public was about $14.3 trillion. That's the debt that's held by those who are investing in that debt. Treasury securities, the federal government, investors outside of the federal government, foreign, state, and local governments, institutions, individuals. But 5.4 trillion of that was being held within the government. Debt held by government accounts, interest earnings, things of that particular nature. Literally, Our national debt at $19.8 trillion is at 106% of the previous 12 months GDP. That means that we are behind the 8 ball in terms of productivity necessary just to get us to the point of break even with our national debt. Now, Japan and China hold about 2 trillion of that outstanding debt. The other 6.2 trillion that is outstanding, held by foreign powers, are foreign investors. Literally 45% of our debt is held by foreigners. Really, you don't need ISIS breaking through the doors. All you need are for those particular companies, those particular foreign investors, foreign holders of our debt, to expect payment and ask for it immediately. Can you imagine what our country would go through at that point? And Mary Brockman is absolutely right. What our country needs is a biblical jubilee. By God, if we could only get a biblical jubilee. We'll be right back with more of the best right after these messages.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
With home values up and interest rates near all-time lows, you probably know that now is a great time to refinance, like the Johnsons, who save $436 a month.
$436 a month?
It's simple. Just go to LendingTree.com, compare loan offers for free, and see how much you could save in just 5 minutes.
Oh, you said the bank gave you the best rate.
Lending Tree. When banks compete, you win.
I have to do everything myself.
Someone is sleeping on the couch tonight.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
When you drive the most rewarding minivan of the year, you look like a winner. But back in our pre-Pacifica days, we suffered our share of loss.
You're listening to the most influential urban conservative talk show in the entire world. The Exceptional Conservative Show at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. #1 on SHR, #1 on TECN. We'll be back right after these messages. Ladies and gentlemen,
Family vehicle makes up for the bump.
this is amazing. I don't know where that stuff was coming from. I don't know where it's coming from, but stuff gets played. You are listening tonight to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. Hopefully we're going to get all this stuff together. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to know that TECN, no video. Well, yeah, actually, you have to click on, and I'm glad that you're here, Smokey. Love you dearly. I'm glad that you're here. If you click on that little arrow, it will pop up in a new tab so that you'll be able to watch while you listen. But let me explain some things to you all. We are in the process of making the transition, and I want you to know, I think I've been a troublemaker in that regard. Making the transition from digital radio or internet radio to internet television. I want you to know that as we're making that transition, there have been some things that we've done. I think I made announcements to everyone every step of the way of where we are at this particular point. One of those is that we were going to move away from the pro broadcasting of Ustream to the free channel for a few weeks, just for a short period of time. And then we would switch over to internet television, thus giving everyone enough time to prepare under the free channel before we went to the premium channel where we make our debut in Vegas. And that's if we raise enough money to get there. I pray so. I pray so. So forgive me for all the bouncy, wavy stuff that's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. I really bear with me in this regard, because what we're going to do is to make certain that those who are on TECN.TV produce the best product possible without the incredible problems of censorship with Facebook and Twitter and all the other places, and even YouTube. We're going to also make certain that the sound is astronomically better than it's ever been. Commercials you'll see and everything else. So you're going to see a whole new ball game coming up in July as we prepare to go to the premium channel. So I want to make certain that you all know that every step of the way. I've been trying to do that with my host as well as various owners. And let me just say, this ain't been easy. You would think it would be, but it ain't easy. As we are beginning to make the transition, there are some who will not be making the transition with us. Thank you for all the gunshots. Wow. Glad to see that. No, I think that's fireworks. It may be fireworks or gunshots, depending on what part of Southeast you're in. But I want you all to understand this particular industry for a moment, if I can. And then I'll go back and we'll try to get in contact with Dr. Wallace. And if we don't, we will try to pick him up a little bit later on in the week. When I began working on making this transition back in February of this year, I wanted to make certain that our transition would be not only timely, but instrumental. And I wanted to make certain, I know, Smokey, you heard the shots too. I'm so sorry. This is where I live, man. This is where I live. It's either fireworks or shots. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to say fireworks because of the time of year that we're in, but no, that's gunfire right there. That's gunfire. That's that's about 8 shots already. That's about 9 shots. Somebody's practicing, apparently, trying to figure out how to use it. So, I want you to know, you may have gun rages in suburban America. We have the streets. Innocent bystanders are sometimes targets. So, you just have to deal with what comes. Like, don't say you don't get a live picture of Southeast Washington, D.C. when I come on. I love you, man. So let me just explain to you the transition that we were trying to make. I wanted to hold on to my brethren, but doing so has been most difficult. One, I'm a bit of a demanding little ornery kind of guy. I like as much perfection as I possibly get without asking for too much more than you could possibly give. So let's just get that out of the way. I'm a real, some people might call me a little itch at times, but that's okay. I'm used to it. But this is what I believe. You're giving up your time. You're giving up your ears. You're giving up your minds, your souls, and your strength to listen to someone from anywhere between, when we take out all the commercials, somewhere in the area of about 48 minutes to 96 minutes a show. I better be gosh darn good. That means I have to be prepared for the microphone. I have to make certain. Yes, you could call me a commercial. I think you need to be as prepared as you possibly can be. Now, there's some people that will make the comment, well, you don't pay us, Ken. Well, I want y'all to know something. Ebony Williams wasn't paid either. And she was on Fox News for 2 years before she received the first paycheck. But nobody would ever say that she wasn't the most prepared woman when she went on the air. Pretty girl that she is. She's a moderate, independent. She's not a Republican, not a conservative. But she practiced on making certain that her message got out there, that her narrative would be heard. I believe that our role as conservatives is to begin to control the narrative, not just on radio. Now, I want y'all to understand something. Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, Laura Ingraham, who else? It's about 4 or 5, maybe 7 of them who have virtually locked up the entire atmosphere of radio programming in America. I mean, you hear them from like 6 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. Period. Some people run Rush twice a day, depending on, which means that comeuppance like myself are not going to get on to those AM radio or maybe even FM radio stations in some areas of the country, which means that you're going to have to find other venues. Internet radio has become a blossoming opportunity for many people in the field of conservative talk, news, and commentary. It's absolutely wonderful. You can come on to Blog Talk Radio, whenever Blog Talk Radio is working. You can go on to Spreaker, which is pretty good, but the quality at times, you can. That's right. Smokey's right. Some places down south play Rush on the weekends too. That's right. So you virtually have no shot at getting on the air. Okay. And this is why I am blessed by my relationship, no matter how strained it is right now with Sean. Sean said, hey, Ken, come on over to SHR for Blog Talk Radio and let's build something here. And we did. We were working on that. And internet radio becomes that open block for individuals who want to get in and talk their minds and have large followings of people at the same time. Unfortunately, you're going up against terrestrial radio and you're going up against Fox News. And that's not, even though Fox News has lost viewers because of the loss of O'Reilly and others, let's just be real, people are still listening to Fox News. And so, as a true thought, one of the things that attracted young millennials, people between the ages of 30 and 50, is the ability to see someone versus just hear someone. So one of the things that I did early on was I started using variant forms of internet TV. I tried YouTube. That didn't really work for me. I tried a few others, one that really worked well for me, but then Google bought it and that tore it all up so that we couldn't use it anymore. And then Ustream. Claudia, love you. Glad to have you here. Was the other option that we used. And so people said, hey, I like that. I didn't like the commercial. So what I had to do was come out of pocket to make certain that you wouldn't see the commercials. Okay? And let's just be very clear. Even though IBM has bought Ustream is antiquated. It doesn't carry the same vibe as the internet television that we're about to go to. It doesn't. Smokey, I need you to call me. I would love for you to be on my network. I ain't gonna lie to you. As some people are exiting stage left, I'll bring you in stage right. Because the bottom line is that there are those who don't see it the way I see it, and I'm okay with that. They may be strained in the relationship towards me, but I'm okay with that because there were 3 options that I gave everybody that was a host on our network. And again, I want to thank Sean, Sacco, Clint, BZ, and all the rest of them at SHR Media for allowing me to build. Yeah, I do want you, Smokey. All the people who I don't want, I want. So one of the things I did from building up from February and working with Chris Arps on MoveOnUpToday.tv is that I wanted us to be able to compete against Fox News. And there are those who would say to us, that's crazy, Ken. That's literally absolutely crazy. You cannot compete against Fox News. And that's what a visionary does. A visionary tells you, we're going to get on these 3 boats, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, and we're going to go off to a place called China. When we get there, we're going to find gold. And everyone on the boat is going to tell you straight up, that's improbable, that's impossible. But then you end up someplace like North America, or at least the Caribbean. You don't find the gold, but you find the new land. Although America Vespucci found it before him. The bottom line, I'm a visionary. So I imagine us conquering giants. There were some who amazingly decided that was too great a journey for them because they are used to terrestrial radio, because everyone's got terrestrial radio in their car. And they're used to internet radio because everyone has internet radio on their devices. But what they fail to realize is that while we have gotten acclimated and used to a certain style of doing something, millennials have moved beyond that. And our objective is not to keep speaking to the choir, preaching to the choir. Our directive is to go and begin speaking to the millennials. Listen, a lot of us were millennials or young people at one point in our lives, and we heard this old guy called Ronald Reagan. So our objective should not be to gather the choir and preach to it. It should be to take on the mindsets of those who are, firstly, admiring of alternative opinion, although they may not agree with it. They certainly like the challenge. And certainly, my popularity at this level is not where I want it to be. No, I'm not talking about wanting to be Rush Limbaugh. What I'm saying is, I want to be able to challenge those who will follow me to help them change their mindsets rapidly so that they might be able to become the evangelists, the teachers, the prophets, the preachers, the pastors, the apostles to that generation that they need to speak to. Here's another thing. We can't just save America. America has to not only be a shining light on a hill, a beacon of freedom to the world, but we must be able to institute liberty and freedom in other nations using the tools of capitalism as well as broadcasting without necessarily using bullets. Now, I know the leftists love to use bullets. Bullet points coming from their group thinkers. Bullet points coming from the radical George Soros and the rest. I know they love to use bullets in that particular fashion. But I want to be able to speak to generations around the world. Can you imagine if Venezuela had someone who was capitalistic and conservative and could speak a message that could sway people away from the belief that maybe a light socialism will work better than hard socialism? Can you imagine what Venezuela would be like? Smokey's right. Our troops are our bullets. Can you imagine being able to speak to the great people of Ethiopia, of Ghana, of South Africa, of Australia and New Zealand, to Japan and China and Korea? Can you imagine speaking to all of them and giving them a message that's normally blocked by their state? Wait a minute. You're caught up on the fact that you have to go to Facebook jail. There are some countries that will not allow certain messages to either go in or go out. Canadians cannot speak as freely as they want to when they're broadcasting from Canada. But when they come on a network like TECN, which is in the United States, they can broadcast freely. And that particular message, that wave, when it hits satellites, goes beyond the construct sometimes of what the state can stop. Can you imagine being the liberators of a nation without ever sitting in a single Marine? My vision is that people can see, and we try to live in a colorblind society, but the truth of the matter is, it takes a few hours out of the day before you see the first black person on Fox News. Unless you're looking at the weekend edition. Can I get an amen? And can I be real with you? Or the first Hispanic or the first Asian. We have to be so aggressive right now, reaching all hues, because they have been so dissected in our society by Democrats. In order to persuade them, you have to reach them. How do you reach them? You reach them with individuals with the same hues who speak the same thing. We're not Afro-American, we're American. We're not Hispanic American, we're American. We're not German American, we're American. You have to begin speaking into their language, speaking into their lives. And when you're doing that and convincing them, like I went on broadly on Facebook and got into a lot of trouble. People put me in Facebook jail for it. But I went in right before the election to affirm that people had a choice in October between paying their mortgage and paying their health insurance. And every one of the tyrannical leftists who believe in all of the socialism and Marxism of their day all came against me and said that's not true. But when we found out the truth, all the people who were listening said, wait a minute, he's right. I may not necessarily be as conservative as he is, but I'm as right as he is. People will align themselves with what they know is right and what is true. So there are some people, as we're making this move, that see themselves just where they are, locked and loaded in terrestrial radio, locked and loaded at 3 a.m. on terrestrial radio. Well, that's great if someone's in Spain listening to you, or great if someone in Timbuktu is listening to you. But how about the third shift in America that's working? That's probably the only group listening to you. We need to be locked and loaded and ready to fire on all calibers 24 hours, 7 days a week. Not because we are pretty, not because we are smart, not because we are better than anyone, but because we are aiming our bullets of truth to the world, to take out those who have menacing desires to keep people oppressed, under tyranny, and as well disheartened. We must take the battle to them where they are. And they need to see your face, unashamed, unabashed, and also unamazed. I'm not worried about facing my enemy. I face my enemy daily. What I'm worried about are those who will never see the boldness of another and say, out of that person's boldness, I am now inspired to conquer the world. We'll be right back with more of the best in urban conservative talk right after these messages.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of the Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. They told me that I needed to be humble, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I decided to be awesome instead. That's the Willie Lawson Show, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. here on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
I'm Ken McClinton, chairman of the Exceptional Conservative Network. Never has the cry for economic liberty been more resounding in urban America than on Election Day 2016. It's the economy. All real change begins with the American entrepreneur. Socialism did not work. Progressivism stole the wealth of individuals and families. You voted for something different, real change. But what does real change look and sound like? It looks like Las Vegas, and it sounds like Freedom Fest 10. Freedom Fest, the world's largest gathering of free minds, is a popular liberty-minded conference at the beautiful Parish Resort in Las Vegas from July 19th to the 22nd. Hear the voices of the urban freedom movement, Deneen Borelli, Larry Elder, Gina Lofton, Helen Rowley, Juan Pablo Agrande, and Zayad Abdullah. Share ideas with powerful liberty movement figures like Steve Forbes, Jim Rogers, Anthony Scaramucci, Jennifer Grossman, Naomi Brockwell, Denise D'Souza, John Stossel, Lisa Kennedy, Peter Schiff, and our keynote speaker this year, William Shatner. Your money, your liberty, your freedom, your city. Come for the real and return with the change. Register now at freedomfest.com for $100 off the regular registration rate when you use the all caps code TECN. We'll see you there.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making of this ad.
Hello, this is Leslie Ann Stoffel with The Real Clear Israel. Join me every Sunday morning at 10:05 Eastern Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network, where we'll be discussing Israel with guests from Israel and around the world.
That's The Real Clear Israel, 10:05 Sunday on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Ow! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We were expecting Dr. Wallace. We'll try to get him on later on this week. It is HAWT in Washington, D.C. It's called Hot. Oh, Lordy Jesus. Oh, Lordy. Oh, I feel like preaching now. Oh, no, I don't. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back. You got a very serious haircut. Thank you, BZ. Thank you. It's hot. It's HAWT in DC. This is the only I can't imagine going on.
The most rewarding minivan of the year.
Oh my goodness, what is that?
But back in our pre-Pacifica days, we still had our share of loss.
I don't know what that is.
Dad may be shining like a diamond today, but he wasn't always the people's champion. Thanks to our Pacifica, he knows better now. Just wish he knew better then.
I
bad boy for life.
Wow, commercial playing over. Okay, I
Get years like the driving discovered Pacifica.
don't know what that one is, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be this way for a couple of weeks. I'm sorry, it is. We're working on it at this particular juncture. Stuff going on as we deal with the menacing transition. Randy Parham and April Parham will be coming on tonight at 11 p.m. right after my program. God bless them. They are just absolutely wonderful individuals. And you need to listen to their programming. Great programming at 11 o'clock at night. Now, I'm talking about really, really good stuff at that late night. Great analysts of the day's affairs. I want to say to everyone, thank you all so much for listening to me earlier. I want to pick up from where I was because I want to let you all know, as much of a curmudgeon as I am, I'm a hard taskmaster as I am, and my demanding people to do things. I remember being raised up during the Motown era, and during Motown, Berry Gordy would have groups that were a part of Motown that would come in 5 days a week, and all they would do is practice 5 days a week. It took them maybe 2 or 3 years before they put out their first song or their first album. And some of them were tremendous, talented singers and dancers and just wonderful individuals. Now, don't lie, BZ. I'm a very demanding individual. I really am. And Berry Gordy would get a group of people around in a room, and he would tell them to play the 45 that was created in their practice sessions. And some of these groups were the Four Tops, the Temptations, Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, Gladys Knight. When you think of the caliber of artists that he had at Motown, Stevie Wonder, I mean, you can go on and on. When you think of the caliber, and some of them couldn't put out an album for like 2 years, as great as they were, they couldn't put out an album unless someone was going to make a choice. If I had to make a choice between my last sandwich and buying this 45, which one would I make? And if everybody in the room said, I would pay my sandwich money for that song, that was the song they were going to release because it was that good. Okay, I grew up under that. I grew up under an age where reading Shakespeare was a requirement in the 5th grade. I mean, there's no choice in the matter. I grew up with individuals who practiced preaching at a very young age, reading the King James Bible and deciphering at a very young age. It was an expectation of success. I was told when I was young, and I don't know if it's true for any of you who are listening, you're going to, because of the color of your skin, have to work twice as hard as somebody else to achieve your end. I don't understand what white privilege is. All I understood was what hard work was. I don't understand what victimology is all about. All I heard was get up at 5 in the morning to get started on your day. Make certain your homework and stuff was finished by the time the 6 o'clock news came on. And make certain that you were going to be not number 2 in the classroom, but number 1. I only understood those things. I remember being in a classroom in high school, and the high school is different than elementary school. As you get older, it becomes a smaller and smaller base, and all the smart kids begin to show up at one place. And I remember the challenge in that classroom, and I was in honors. I remember the challenge was to get the highest grade. as much as we love one another. The challenge was to be the best. And often I wasn't the best. I may have been in the top 5, but I wasn't the best. And do you know how much that hurt my heart? I struggled to make certain if I missed this question and that question on the final exam, I'm going to get every single one right. That was how I was raised. That's my approach to running TECN. I don't understand what it means to be an individual superstar. I don't. What I do understand is this. You are to present the best of who you are at all times to all people, and it doesn't even matter what they think about you after you presented yourself. You've done your very best. So when I came with this idea of TECN TV, starting out last February talking about it, I offered to my host first rights to join. Now I want you to understand something. In 8 years, I've never received one paycheck. Ustream, live stream, I have not received one check for being on the air. And I didn't want that to happen to anybody that was going to be on my network. I know how hard it is to work on this. I used to work as a pastor and as a counselor, and I remember working on this stuff while I was working on that stuff during the course of a day, and literally keeping myself aware of what's going on around me in the world while I'm helping and assisting others or preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. And people ask me now when I'm on Facebook, when do you go to sleep? I don't. Because my mind doesn't let me, because I have to be the best at what I do. So I offer 3 choices for those people who wanted to stay at TECN. Number 1, you can move with me to the premium channel and finally get a pay. Because out of the subscriber base, we'll get a portion, and I will distribute those portions to those who are part of our TECN premium channel. Then there were those who are, you can't tell them that you're being censored by Facebook and Twitter. They just can't believe it. So, and Ustream, so that's okay. I'm all right. You can stay with TECN and broadcast on all the things that you want and be on our free channel. And then there are those who say, you know what? I don't even want to be on TV. You can stay with TECN and broadcast on SHR only. I gave those 3 choices. Now, some people became quite heated that I was making the transition. And that's okay. That's a part of business life. It's a moment of get over. I understand. I really do. I still love you. But I got to make a business decision. And others began to hear, you're not going to be a success. And I'm going to tell you a story behind that. You're not going to be a success where you go because everyone's right here at internet radio. I remember a time when nobody was at internet radio. I'm just saying. You'll never be successful where you're going. I want you all to know something. There was a church that I attended in my youth, and I grew up there, and I got married there. I married Mrs. Biggs there. And because they were marrying gay people, I decided my family couldn't be in that environment. We got to leave. And I remember walking down the stairs of the church to go claim my family after my conversation with the pastor of that church. And I remember the pastor running behind me. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm all that in a bag of chips. I'm just saying I was very good at what I was doing as a counselor, as a preacher. And he said, Ken, stop. Stop. And out of reverence and respect, I turned around towards him. And he said, you won't be able to go anywhere, not one other place, and be given the ability to do what you were able to do here. Now I want you to understand something. I believe in a God so great that he can separate water so that you may be able to walk over the muck into a dry land in liberation and freedom. I believe in a God so great that a man prayed for healing from AIDS and HIV and woke up a few months later and had no signs of it. I believe in a God so great that a transgender transsexual with surgery can reclaim their form back to humanity as a man. I believe in that kind of God. And so based on that belief, I have been told you will not be a success where you're going and what you're trying to do. And you're breaking up a lot of happy homes. Let me explain something to you. I love you with all of the love that God could possibly utter to another man in the midst of wailing tears. But I remember that Sunday that pastor came behind me and told me the very same thing. And I remember after doing more at another church, creating greater opportunities at another church where I was cast out because of my political beliefs. That pastor came behind me and said the very same thing. So if two men of the cloth who are highly respected and revered as men of God could possibly prophesy my failure and not know my true success in God, I want you to know something. You will be sadly disappointed. I got faith. I got faith that we can do greater things than people could possibly ever believe that we could. I have faith that we can go places that people never thought we could. I have faith that we can achieve obstacles that people deem impenetrable. When I say that we're going to get 1 million subscribers, I got faith. Not a faith that I create, but a faith that was created in me through Christ Jesus. Now, I want you to know something. If you stay where you are, I'm happy for you. I am proud of you. You are the best at what you do. Continue to be the best at what you do. Continue to preach the good news of Christianity, of conservatism, of capitalism, of constitutionalism, and of personal individual sovereignty. Keep preaching that thing, because where you are needed and have been vested and ordained by God to be where you are and to move mountains like mountains have never been moved before. But as for those who shall follow me on as I follow Christ Jesus, it is not a scornful thing to look behind you and see that other men have decided to stay in the valley and you've been called up on the mountain. It's all right. There is a place in the valley for some and a place on the mountain for others. And in between, God is in the places for both. And I want you to know, TECN will survive even when I pass. I have a 100-year plan for TECN. We will achieve that end of bringing families together, of bringing people out of the brokenness of homosexuality, of living a scorned life of envy for the rich, thinking that you're always poor, of believing that the Constitution has taken something from you when only God can give it to you. I want you to understand something. Where I have to go, not everybody can go. And it's not a rude thing to say that. It is not a harsh thing to say that. It is not an enviable thing to say that. In fact, I love the fact of where you are, wherever you are, as long as you preach the good news. But where TECN will go is that we will not only cast out demons in America, but we will cast out demons internationally. We will reach the world in great order and in great achievement. Even though I have a dime in my pocket, I believe God shall prosper me to the point that what I say becomes reality for a whole lot of people. It is not easy being the founder, chairman, and president of this particular vision. When you sleep, I'm awake. When you question, I have to seek an answer. I want you to understand something. We got a second chance in this last election. People ask, is God a second chance God? You better look at Donald Trump and thank God that there's Donald Trump in that office. Because it could have been the other way around. But in that second chance, he is not giving you a chance for rest. God gives rest to the weary, but you must be first weary in God. Whatever it is that he's given you to do in your life, do it to the best of your ability. If other men sleep 8 hours, you better sleep 4. Success is not promised. Success is not guaranteed. Success is not inherited. Success is ordained. You can go back to Deuteronomy 8:18 and find that one out. You are ordained of God to prosper, but you better work for it. No man is going to give it to you. You're going to have to do things and go places that others will tell you that you are a failure in before you even arrived. You're going to have to be doing foolish stuff, like getting into another city and saying, you got a donkey and a mule? Because my boss said, you got a donkey and a mule. I told him he was crazy. I want you to know something. God's asking us to do immaculate and inordinate and extraordinary things. He wants us to be exceptional in a land of ordinary. And I know I've blown through every cut and everything else, but gosh darn, I'm a chairman. I can make my own mistakes. I will ask for forgiveness later. But I want you to know something tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I don't fault those people that stay behind at SHR and High Plains Pundit Media. You're in a good place. Those are godly men. And I wish them all great success, every single one of them. In fact, today I picked up the phone and called Ron Edwards, and I praised him and I thanked him and encouraged him great success at High Plains Pundit Media for his 6 o'clock program. I want you to know that. I hold no harsh words against any person who's got to make a decision, because it's a business decision that you have to make. But here's where I have fault with you. I have fault with you when you've entered into agreements with the expectation of failure on another man's part. Here's where I have fault with you. I have fault with you when you stay right where you are because you doubt how great your God is. Here's where I have fault with you. I have fault with you when you try to tear another down in order to get to where you need to be. I want you to understand something. At my Father's table, there's lots of room. There is so much room that when my Father looks out and he looks at the end of the table and he asks, which person is not here, that he is willing to leave the table of 99 and go find the one that's missing. I want you to know that my God is so great that if he can open up the doors of heaven for Roger Ailes to create Fox News, he will do the same for me to create TECN.TV and TV International. I want you to know that even though I have no money in my pocket now, my God is so great that if he wants me in Las Vegas, he's going to make it happen when no others can. I want you to know how great my God is. And the reason why I have to do this is not because of me. You can ask Mary. If it were my choice, I would have given up 8 years ago. I would have stopped right there and said, after 3 weeks, to heck with this. I got a young wife. I got a young family. Let me enjoy those particular moments. But God wasn't through with me yet. While I was broadcasting on May 27th of 2015, my daughter was being murdered. And my God wasn't through with me yet. I want y'all to know something. I want y'all to know something. Somebody asked earlier today what a friend is. And they put out on Facebook what they thought a friend was. Now, I hold no credence but in what God says a friend is. Thank you, Deborah. Deborah, who's always by my side, great assistant, telling me that the bug is in the chat room. Thank you. God bless you, young woman. Somebody said that a friend was someone that agreed with them on everything that they said, thunk, and did. But before I go to break, and then I'll bring BZ in because I know y'all want to hear BZ. I want you to know what a friend is. Because you might think that a friend is the person that's going to give you another beer when he got to hold your hair as you regurgitate. You may think that's a friend. But sometimes a friend's got to tell you something that you don't want to hear. A friend's got to challenge you to do things that you don't think that you can do, but you got the talent to do it. But I'm going to tell you that we got a lot of friends in America, and they happen to wear blue and white and green. John 15:11 says, "These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you. And I pray that you all might have Zoe in Christ Jesus," as I read this. That my joy might remain in you and that your joy might be full. John 15:12 says, "This is my commandment." I want you to understand something tonight. As I'm talking with you about TECN and all the fluctuating problems that we have, that you have to go to a different page to watch us now, all that stuff is going to change. And you'll be watching it, you'll be watching television. All that stuff, all this too shall pass. And what shall remain? Will it be joy or will it be hate? Will it be love or will it be disappointment? John 15:12, Jesus says, "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you." I want you to know something. I tell everybody who joins TECN that you are a minister. No, you don't need a seminary degree, but you got to have love. Love conquers a multitude of sin. It doesn't accept it, but it conquests it because you believe in what's better in that person than they can believe in themselves. Jesus says, "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you." When you come into my chat room, the one thing I would say to you is that I love you. I try to get to everybody as best I possibly can. And some night I get to a point, I hope I get to a point where I can't type in there fast enough, "I love you" to everybody. But I want you to know, if I haven't said it to you, I love you. You may respond any kind of way you want, but I want you to know, in my heart of hearts, I love you. I love you, and you'll never have to do anything for me. I love you, and you'll never have to give anything to me. I hate that, whatever that is. Thank you. Thank you. Whatever that is. I want you to know I love you. I'm going to use it. God says use everything for his good. I'm going to use it. I want you to know I love you. I may not agree with everything. Listen, I don't agree with my daughter's lifestyle, but I love my daughter. My wife and I don't always agree on everything, but you know what? I love my wife with all of my heart, with all of my soul, with all of my strength, with all of my mind. Jesus says, "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you." John 15:13 says, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." I want you to understand something tonight. TECN is my life. It is my lifestyle. It is my living. I wake up in the morning and I think TECN. I work during the day and I think TECN. I go to bed at night after the show and I'm thinking TECN. I dream TECN. I want you to know that I still would lay it down for my friends. My wife has always said that you love TECN more than you love me. And one night we had a disagreement. And she didn't come right home. We didn't yell and scream, we didn't hit up on each other, but we can sometimes just be so silent that it's just as good as having an argument. And she didn't come straight home, and so I knew where she worked. So I decided I'm going to find my wife. And this is why when you read in Corinthians, Paul says it's far better for you to be single and love the Lord. That way you can minister with peace. He's not degrading married. What he's saying is that you won't be distracted in terms of doing it. You are going to put your whole mind into it. Otherwise, you got a responsibility to love your wife as Christ loved the church. So I went after my wife that night. And I want y'all to know something. Since I've been on SHR, I've done over 1,100 live shows. In fact, about 1,126 to be a fact. I think this is 27 tonight. I did that in about 1.5 years. I want you to ask yourself, how many people you know could do that many live shows? So I love doing what I do. But I will put it down for my wife because I love her more. John 15:14. Jesus says, "Ye are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you." John 15:15 says, "Henceforth I call you not servants." I want you to know, for all those individual owners out there who have their own shows on the Exceptional Conservative Network, I don't own your content. I don't own your show. I can't tell you what to do, and I wouldn't tell you what to do in terms of the content of your program. But I will tell you every once in a while how you should look, or how you should speak, or the caliber of the character that you should have. Why? Because you belong to this network. Now, you can go to some other network and they may never say anything to you. That's okay, because that's their network. But I got expectations, because greater are the expectations on me than they are on you. Mary will tell you, I better look good every night I come on this program. Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you, is what Jesus says. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. I've been open and upfront with everybody on this network, those who have been listening to me, and those who have worked with me, and those who have worked for me in terms of my assistant. I've been more honest and open than most people would ever regale. And that's okay. You're not my servant, you're my friend. You may go a different way, but it doesn't change the fact that I still see you as a friend. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. John 15:16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. These things, in John 15:17, he says, these things I command you, that ye love one another. Listen, I may end up stank broke doing what I'm doing. I might end up laughed at, berated, called everything but a son of God. But I want you to know something. I love you still. I love you enough to follow Jesus. I hope, of all hopes, that you love him enough to do the same. We'll be right back with none other than the Bloviating Zeppelin right after this message.
With home values up and interest rates near all-time lows, you probably know that now is a great time to refinance, like the Johnsons, who save $436 a month.
$436 a month?
It's simple. Just go to lendingtree.com, compare loan offers for free, and see how much you could save in just 5 minutes.
Oh, you said the bank gave you the best rate.
Lending Tree. When banks compete, you win.
I have to do everything myself.
Someone is sleeping on the couch tonight.
So what do you think about ebooks? Maybe you've never read an ebook before, but you're considering giving it a try. Or maybe you've been reluctant to try ebooks because you don't want to buy another expensive electronic device. Or maybe you already enjoy ebooks, but you haven't been able to find titles from your favorite Christian authors. Whatever your situation, ChristianBook.com has the solution. Your trusted source for print books for over 30 years now offers ebooks. Our always free CBD reader allows you to read on the devices you already own without spending money on a new device. Thousands of Christian ebooks at ChristianBook.com means you can shop with confidence and choose from the titles you want. Plus, we are adding new titles all the time. Browse our huge selection of low-priced Christian ebooks the same way you would printed books, only now you can go from shopping to reading in seconds. Simply select the ebook you wish to purchase, confirm your account information, and start reading. Free samples of every ebook are available, so you can preview the book first, before you buy it. Plus, there's no lengthy app downloads and updates. Accessing the CBD Reader is as easy as going to cbdreader.christianbook.com and bookmarking the page. The CBD Reader holds your ebooks and bookmarks for you, no matter what device you're on. So, you can take your entire ebook library wherever you go and pick up right where you left off. Our customizable options make it possible to read your ebooks in different font sizes and styles. Want a large print version? You've got it in seconds with a simple click of the mouse. already own a dedicated e-reader? Download your ebooks to your computer from your christianbook.com account and transfer them to your device. Try ebooks at christianbook.com and start reading your favorite books in seconds. Easy, economical, everywhere you want to read. Welcome to christianbook.com ebooks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first in the Republican and then the Socialists. Thank you all so much for listening to my chatter over the past hour and a half or so. I'm sorry, it was just so much, everything that was dwelling in me. We will attempt to get Eric Wallace back tomorrow night because he has a big event in town on Thursday and Friday, I believe, or Friday and Saturday. And I know for those who will be coming, there's a way that you can go there for free. And I want to make sure that you have that information just in case you want to attend. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody who's in the chat room this particular evening. God bless you. Smokey, who made me an honorary Texan. I love you, man. I love you with all of my heart, brother. Thank you for making me an honorary Texan, despite the fact that I root for the Washington Redskins. Randy Perm, who will be coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. You all have got to listen to Randy and April in the 11 o'clock hour. They do a wonderful, wonderful job of preaching the good news. Well, not just with words, certainly with the presentation of thank you, Melanie, Thursday through Saturday. Thank you. It's Thursday through Saturday. Certainly the presentation of the Constitution and political events and current events. You guys got to listen to them. They are awesome. I know, man. I root for the Redskins and I still became an honorary Texan. Melanie Collette, love you too. Glad to have you in here tonight. She has a wonderful program on SHR Media. It is on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. She interviews the best of the best when it comes to CEOs and all the rest. Mary Brockman, my bouncer. I love you. Mary Brockman's my bouncer. If you diss her, you diss me, and you will be dismissed from. Don't try me, because I'll do it. Claudia Cheek, the beautiful and vivacious Claudia Cheek. Oh, she looks like a model in person. If you ever see her in person, and she's shy and humble too. She's not the kind of model that will tell you, I look like a model. You can just look at her and say, that's a model. Claudia Cheek. And then Bloviating Zeppelin, we are going to get him on the phone right now. This is what he told me out of the earshot of Sean and Clint. He said, without me, there would be no Sackheads Radio. And so I want to keep that to myself. I don't want to share that with anyone. I just want that between me and Sir Mark, that he actually said to me at the water cooler that without him, there would be no SHR Media. Good evening, Sir Mark. It's great to have you here.
Well, two comments to that. Number one, where's my kisses? I don't get any kisses. I don't get any blowy kisses or anything like that. I feel so left out. How sad is that? That's how sad it is. It's extremely sad. All right. I know my place.
Listen.
Anyway,
Mark.
Of course, that's absolutely correct.
Mark, I believe you too. Mark, just between you and me, when Mary's not here, I will blow kisses to you.
Okay, all right. But you can't afford to piss off Mary.
You better not.
I learned that early. I learned that very early in the saloon. But if you remember, one of the first things I did is I took one bar stool out about 4 blocks away to a place that does embroidery, and I had the back of a chair embroidered, so she knows she always has a place in the saloon. That's how much I respect/fear. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say fear.
Respect.
Mary Brockman.
Respect. That's right.
Respect.
You know, I actually came in. This is absolutely true, ladies and gentlemen. This is how much respect I have for Mary Brockman. Mary Brockman told me one night that I needed to take my hat off with the outfit that I had on. And it was like instantaneous. I didn't realize it. It was like, God, move quickly. Don't make Mary come through the screen on you. Oh my goodness.
Okay, is that why you don't have your hat on tonight?
That's why I do not have my hat on tonight, because Mary would tell me to take it off with the outfit that I have on tonight. See, I have to go through, people don't understand, I have to go through my executive producer, Mrs. Biggs, in terms of my dress code. And when she's sleeping, this is why y'all need to know on the down low, if she's sleeping before the show, I can put on what I want. Nobody gonna say nothing. But I have to go through her, and then I have to go through Mary. And Mary checks in before everybody else to see what I look like. So if I don't look good, she'll make me get off the air, go change up, and put. So Mary's a powerful woman. I just got to tell you that.
Well, she already told me she could beat your arm wrestling. So that means she's a powerful woman.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Oh
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Everyone says the East Coast, the right coast, is going through an incredible heat wave, and it's because of that it's obviously global warming. So is it really hot in D.C. right now?
Well, wait a minute. You know, see, the strange thing about this is, and I saw the clip by Joe Coleman, who's the founder of the Weather Channel, who made it abundantly clear there's no scientific proof of any global warming whatsoever, nor global cooling. The truth of the matter is, this is the first real hot day in Washington, D.C. for the entire summer. And if anybody knows Washington, D.C., normally, before Memorial Day, we've had at least 2 or 3 90-degree days. It hasn't hit 90 until today. So it's not hot here. It wasn't hot here until today. And this will go away this weekend when it rains a little bit.
Well, here's the interesting point, and the reason I bring that up is because obviously it's global warming. Global warming, because today is June 12th. And in the middle of summer, June is a really hot month. Up where I live, it's, that's right, 38 degrees right now. Global warming, and it's...
Oh my God, global warming at 38 degrees, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right, in June. In June. So all you little religious lefties, stay on track, absolutely stay on track, because it's 90 degrees in D.C. in summer. Excuse me while I grasp my forehead, begin to swoon. Where's my fainting pouch? I'm looking for it.
Oh, Lord Jesus. I'm a global warming preacher. Oh, it's hot. Hot. I tell you, it's hot.
Hello, Vietnam. It's hot.
It's hot. Oh, my goodness. You, sir, have done a wonderful job of writing at bloviatingzeppelin.net. I'm immensely proud to have that on my website at Voice of Liberty for people who like to read a number of great writers. We have the lid there with my very good friend. And as you can tell, I've gotten old where I have forgotten his name. Oh, my God. My favorite Jew.
Right. Jeff Dunnett. I'll do it for you. That's
thank you.
All right.
Jeff Dunnett.
That's my job.
Thank you.
My job is to make you look good.
Okay?
Yeah, you look damn good.
Thank you. That you all make me look so gosh darn good. Wow. Thank you, Jeff Dunnett. And see, now I got to buy his sandwich at the deli because I forgot his name.
All right.
But you are a tremendous writer at bloviatingzeppelin.net. You wrote last week about a certain guy, and we actually happened to do an interview with that guy.
Here. Go away and let us alone. Oh, scared, huh? Afraid, huh? How long can you stay fresh in that can? Come on, get up and fight, you shivering junkyard.
That's right. That was the Cowardly Lion, Comey. He attacked us for doing the interview with him, demanded that we get up and fight. And you wrote very well about it. Did you have an opportunity to talk with him before you wrote that article, sir?
With Jim Comey?
Yes.
I can't tell you how many emails I sent to him. And it's true. It's true. No lie. I sent him a whole bunch of emails. And finally he agreed to meet. Covertly, he didn't want his personal security contingent. We sat on a bench in DuPont Circle, and we were going to do lunch, basically, a real quick interview for lunch. I had my little Sony digital tape recorder, and he had a bag lunch, and I had a bag lunch, and he pulled out a PB&J sandwich, and I pulled out a honey and cheese sandwich. He looked at it. He asked me what it was. I told him it was a honey and cheese sandwich. He put his sandwich back in the bag and walked off.
Put him up.
That was the extent of my interview with James Comey. How sad, but he's a sandwichist. You didn't know it. He's a sandwichist. How sad.
We didn't know this about James Comey. We knew he was a leaker. We know that he was the cowardly lion in The Wizard of Oz. We did not know he was a sandwichist. That's simply amazing.
Yeah, I was gobsmacked. and I can't tell you how I hesitate. It stirs me. I hesitate. It makes me hot tub to have to tell you this tonight in front of everyone. And it was only by the means of extreme duress from all the emails that you sent me prior to the show tonight that I finally acquiesced. We've been corresponding back and forth for the past 4 months about this. And I said, yes, I'll tell you what happened last week between myself and James Comey. Sad thing.
Thank you.
What?
It's breaking news.
Yes, it is. Yes, it's broken on your show.
Broken on my show. You know, BZ, thanks to you, every week is a broken news story week. It's
a broken record. Every week with me is a broken record. Go ahead and say it. It's true.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you're wiping your forehead. It's the heat. It's the damn heat in D.C. You're trying to deny global warming. You know, it's hot in the studio. And see, sad it is that you will not admit the truth that's directly in front of your face.
Damn.
Or actually the sweat that's dripping down your forehead in rivulets. Actually, it's not rivulets. Absolute rivers. How sad.
It doesn't help when someone's sitting there telling you that someone says sandwiches. It doesn't help at all.
If any other explanation for it, I certainly can.
Now, I want to talk with you about a very serious matter. And I thank you so much for bearing with me during the course of this particular program. But Brian Terry and Eric Holder, and the report that came out last week, and I believe it was out of the Senate committee, if not, it was the House, regarding the Justice Department's review of the Fast and Furious episode in American history. And I want you to tell everyone, what did the Justice Department find and why it is so appalling?
All right, we're going to get serious for a second. What happened last week is that when all the cable news and everyone else, the alphabet not agencies, but the alphabet news, they spent all last week talking about the build up to Comey, what was going to happen with Comey. And during that, something that was, in my estimation, rather large in scope came out when it was discovered that they completely ignored, basically, a House Oversight Committee report that clearly showed that President Obama's administration impeded the Fast and Furious investigation. It was essentially a blistering report. It names former Attorney General Eric Holder specifically, in particular, and they said that he repeatedly lied to the family of a slain Border Patrol officer about the weapons used in his death, and stonewalled efforts. Now, all right, you've got a lie, and you're promulgating a lie. But of course, we know the cover-up is even worse, except when you're a Democrat. But despite having clearly stated a lie, he attempted to cover it up, and basically tried to obstruct
Yes.
About the weapons used in the death of U.S. Border Patrol agent Brian Terry. He stonewalled efforts to try to get the truth. But you know, it's one of those first things. Well, let's go back.
Yeah.
The Justice Department finally admitted that 64,000 pages were not privileged, and that kind of showed that the House's bipartisan vote to hold, if you remember,
yeah,
Eric Holder was actually held in contempt.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that was something that hadn't happened in quite years. Eric Holder was held in contempt of Congress. He's the first sitting cabinet official ever to face a contempt citation from Congress for specifically his failure to turn over those documents regarding Fast and Furious, which in and of itself is bad. And of course, we're talking about, we're opposing it, we're contrasting it and comparing it to the things that the American media maggots want to talk about these days, in which Russia, Trump, how many people died behind that? Well, we know for a fact now, clearly, that a U.S. Border Patrol agent, Brian Terry, died behind this situation. And so, because of that threshold, Eric Holder was held in contempt for the failure to turn over his documents on Fast and Furious. The people in that committee said emails contained in the House Oversight Committee's report shows top officials knew the ATF sent guns to Mexico even before Terry's death. So, do you want to talk about obstruction?
Wow.
Do you want to talk about actual obstruction of justice or corruption? The report claims the administration tried to stop the investigation, and it came out because of this guy named John Dodson, who was essentially a whistleblower. And there are laws, federal laws, that support people who blow the whistle. And yet this guy, John Dodson, who came up with the information on that, was excoriated. He said, I was lied about and disparaged. He was publicly attacked.
Mm-hmm.
He was ridiculed. He was libeled. He was transferred in the federal system 11 times. He was denied promotions. He was ostracized. He was barred, physically barred from government workplaces and literally banned physically from public buildings.
Yes.
And this information comes out all last week. And can anyone, yourself or otherwise, tell me if you heard just a chirp about that last week?
Well, those who listened to us last week, we talked about this on our program. And I'm glad that you wrote about it, because unfortunately not enough attention, even amongst conservatives in America, has been paid to this. And you speak to the whistleblower, but the fact that the Obama administration lied over 5 times to the family directly regarding this and did everything to obstruct telling them the truth regarding the death of their son. People want to talk about Russia.
It's a pattern. It's a clear pattern. You saw it there with Brian Terry. Now, come on, did you not see it with regard to each and every individual in Benghazi?
Yes.
Susan Rice took that very next day and went on all the Sunday shows and trotted out the immense lie there that people innately within themselves suspected was a lie and was proven to be so. So this is systemic. It's systemic and it's systematic. And it continues and continues. And yet, though we're talking about the death now in just these 2 instances, we're talking about the physical death of 5 Americans.
Yeah.
That makes no difference. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely, just kick it under the rug and move along. Nothing to see here. The most important part now is getting President Trump for an obstruction of justice charge, or better yet, let's just get him impeached. How many people have died in the Trump administration?
Okay.
Now, none. How many over Russia? None.
None.
Was there obstruction? No.
No.
How many people are saying that there was obstruction of justice, that we ought to drop the Russian probe? Now, even Democrats are starting to say that. It's so clear that even a 5-year-old in the middle of DuPont Circle holding the hand of his grandmother can point out and say, and point at Eric Holder and say, BS artist.
Who is being well paid by California to sue Obama for.
Certainly.
Yeah, there you go. Another great work in the life of the people of California. Hey, we're talking tonight with Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin, one of the stars of SHR Media on Sackheads Radio on Wednesday nights. He also has the Berserk Bobcat Saloon on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. So glad to have him here. He's a tremendous writer and a great friend. I want to thank you so much for making my hat look so good on Thursday night. You wore it well. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, so you did notice.
Yes.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm. I was watching you on SHR TV. SHR TV.
Now, I did point to it. Now, I didn't know whether people would notice or not because I don't know if you're colorblind like I am, but it's a red hat, I'm told. And so, good for you. You saw it. Outstanding. Just promo.
And I just want to thank your wife for sewing in the hat, because people say that my hats happen to be slightly larger than the human head allows. They say it's because of my ego. I say it's because of my birth canal issue with my mom. But
okay. The truth is, and I'll reveal it here first on the Ken McClenton show.
Breaking news.
My hat size is 8.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Mine's a 7
and 3/4. Thank you for having an adjustable cap.
Thank you. Mine's a 7 3/4. So no, 7 7 and mine is way up there with yours. We got some big heads. And you know what they say about our heads.
Well, that's where we do our greatest thinking. There or the bathroom. One of the
Great intellectuals posted
yes.
on the. There we go. Apparently, Senator Feinstein, or Feinstein. How do you? I don't know how you Californians say it. Frankenstein. It doesn't matter. But apparently, she's calling for an investigation on a very good friend of hers, Loretta Lynch.
Well, she is.
Yeah, for something that she may have said. I don't know what she's talking about.
Here's what I wrote, that because she did that, I asked in the article, okay, Dianne Feinstein, is this the point where you're actually deigning to cross the Rubicon, so to speak? Because a lot of Democrats, after she said that, and she said it yesterday, she said it Sunday on CNN of all places, what a shock, that there needs to be an investigation, an open investigation into the manner in which Obama's last Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, wait, again, do you not see a pattern here? That's just me, though.
It's just you,
Eric
man.
Holder, AG1 under Obama, Loretta Lynch, AG2 under Obama. Now, even Dianne Feinstein, who's not yet the loon that Pelosi is. I don't know if you saw the most recent video. Well, hell, pick any video involving Nancy Pelosi, and she's gone over the edge. I don't know if it's meds, whether she's taking psilocybin or other hallucinogens. I don't know, but Dianne Feinstein actually still has a toe, at least a toe, that she's dipping occasionally into reality. And she was saying that Loretta Lynch, because of the testimony last Thursday by James Comey, she says perhaps there does in fact need to be an open investigation into the manner in which Loretta Lynch handled the Hillary Clinton email inquiry regarding Lynch's directive to former FBI Director James Comey, insisting that he call it a matter and not an investigation.
Yeah, but that's a fact. But wait a minute. Don't all you coppers call things matters? I mean,
well, of course we do.
Oh!
Of course we do. Well, basically, the point behind that, of course, is to minimize officially told from the AG to the FBI director, completely removing his boss. His boss was Rosenfeld. That's who's the direct supervisor. So, number one, she's eliminating chain of command, but when you're dealing with Democrats, that's fine.
Yeah,
Who cares?
yeah.
Move on. Nothing to see here. And so basically his compliance, we learned Thursday, was he was willing to step into that political tank, into the tank, with all the Democrats and the leftists and everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So when he attempts to hold himself up as this sainted 6'8" individual, and that he's playing the victim, he's nothing but a sainted victim. You see, Ken,
Mm-hmm.
how sad
Mm-hmm.
for Mr. Comey.
Oh.
And then you have a on Sunday yesterday you have Dianne Feinstein saying that maybe we need to investigate something between Loretta Lynch. Oh, and if you're going to go for Lynch, that also means you need to look into James Comey as well.
Ooh, wait a minute. But wait a minute. James Comey is a hit. He is a star. People love James Comey. How would the Democrats ever investigate James Comey? The man who's saying, if I only had a heart, if I only had a brain.
I know. The same individual, oddly enough, who was excoriated by Maxine Waters et al. Because he didn't follow the proper direction at one particular time. Then, upon reconsideration, he fell another direction, the right direction for the Democrats, and now big hugs, big smoochy kisses all around. James Comey is now back in the fold, except for one important safety tip. Oh, that's right, he's no longer FBI director. How sad. Oh, that's right, that makes him a victim again. Good for him.
I tell you, if only I were a victim. If only I were.
I know. Now, think of the places you could go and the people you could see. Wouldn't it be glorious?
Don't you wish you were 6'8" and could hide behind a curtain? Don't you just?
Well, at all of 5'9", yes, it would be grand one day to wake up 6'8", and if so, my feet would be sticking out the bed.
Listen, Mark, you have a tremendous show. And you are.
That's not that tremendous.
Yeah, you are. You're a tremendous artist. There are lots of scientists in this field of journalistic pursuit and commentating. You an artiste, and I just want to let you know, an artiste, and that's spelled with a capital R.
Okay. Artiste, that's right. R-T-I-S-T 3-E. The 3 is silent. Artiste.
I'm gonna name my grandchildren artiste.
Excellent. Excellent.
Mark, I went to okay, I'm not supposed to be racist, right? Can I be racist?
Right.
Before I just want to be racist here.
As long as you're not a sandwichist.
Thank you. Because I don't need a heart. I got one. I went to a graduation, and I know I gotta let you go, but I went to a graduation about a week ago, and I sat there while they were calling out the names of the kids, and I dig you people and how you name your children: Tom, Mary, Andrew, and then they got to my kids. And we got names like Porsche, Mercedes, Chevrolet, Jules. We got Mahida, Rashida, Nagita, Nadina, Mudina, Amanda Fernandez. I was like, oh my God.
Nagila. That's right. Have a Nagila. As a matter of fact, don't just have one Nagila. Have 3 Nagila. Have 3 Nagila. Have 3 Nagila. 20 more.
So not trying to be.
Sing, did you?
You're a great singer too. You and Jeff Dunnett. But I must say that if you're going to name your children Tom and Andrew and Mary, please add a few more names to that, because then they would fit in with the rest of the graduating class. Okay.
My favorite, can I tell you my favorite that I had at a graduation?
Yes.
La Dinette.
Like that? Oh my God!
It's my fave. This is America. This is why we're in America. You're free. You're absolutely free. God bless America.
God bless America for destroying your children's lives. Sir Mark, thank you. God bless you, sir, for being on tonight. Take next week off, okay?
Thank you ever so kindly, sir, and thank you again for having me on your show.
God bless you, sir. La Dinette!
Hey, it's Jersey Joe, the Creamer, Common Sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on shrmedia.com. It's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, shrmedia.com.
The best late night conservative talk show in America, TECN Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than TECN Sean and TECN Clint. And we're working on registration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, TECN Radio.
You.
The best late night conservative talk show in America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider ever.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We have a brand new show on at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. We are bound to make you think. We are bound to make you see things differently. We are bound to push you into action for not only your community, but your country. That's The Willie Lawson Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. See you there. Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to tell you, I've had the most wonderful night tonight. I hope that you have had the most wonderful night tonight, too. I want you all to know that I am exceedingly grateful and respectful of the sacrifices that you all will be making over the next few weeks while we get prepared to make our transition to television. Everyone will have an opportunity during the first 2 weeks of July as we claim our independence to see us on free TV. There will be some shows that will remain on free TV, others on premium channel. So they will give you enough time where you can register for the premium channel. We will be registering hopefully in Vegas on the premium channel for individuals to watch. I also want to tell you that Dr. Eric Wallace said that he was sorry that he missed the call tonight, and we will call him tomorrow night, okay? But I want to thank you all so much for your patience. There are going to be some distractions along the way. Nothing I can do about that. And quite frankly, I want you to see one of the distinctions, how different it will be when you just see TV. Now, some of you all might note at the very top of the page, We have moved all the shows that will remain under SHR that still stay with TECN. There will be some shows that will leave TECN. That doesn't mean that we're bad, and it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that people have made business decisions. And listen, I love, thank God for America. That I mean, in America, in a day, you can start your own business. You may have to wait a lifetime in Uganda. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want people to come away with false judgments about people in our networks. Okay, there are things that business decisions that just have to be made. Red Nation Rising made a business decision today with Talk Radio America, and they separate. So people are making business decisions all around us on this new technology called Internet TV. Some people will stay where they are because they're used to Facebook and Twitter, even though in YouTube, even though they censor. You're not going to have censorship on my network. You're just not. So you're going to get a lot of people just free and clear. You're not going to also get a lot of cussing either. It will be at NC-17 language or whatever. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to have a whole lot more fun. Next week, it will be very dangerous because it will be me all next week by myself doing the live shows. We will not have contributors. It's not done purposely in envy or anger or hostility because I know how rumors and innuendos get started. Let me tell you why. It's summer. People need a break. I do live shows because I love doing live shows, but some people need to get away. They need to be with their families. And so, let them be. So next week, you will not have Janice Hall, the J Hall World Report. You will not have the Kraken. You will not have Shannon and Mike. You will not have, Shannon of Shannon and Mike. You will not have Lonnie Poindexter next week. And you will not have the Bloviating Zeppelin, okay? They will be on vacation because I instructed them to be on vacation. They will be back at the end of the month before we say goodbye to everybody on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Media because we love them all. But we will be making our transition, and we hope that you are an active part of that. When we get ready to do our registration, I want you to do what a young lady did in conversation with me this morning at 3 a.m. on Facebook. She said, I don't know who you are, but I wanted to know who you are. And I found you. Would you please tell me who you are? And I responded, I'm the chairman, the founder, the president of TECN. She says, I've heard of that, but I don't know how I came across you. And I said, maybe because of a like. She said, exactly, because we might be Trumpsters. And so from there, I said, well, if you don't want to befriend me, it's cool. I love you anyway. I appreciate you. Just tell everyone about us. She said, I know you, I will befriend you, but I don't know a lot of people. And I said, well, if this conversation is just between us only, I have gained a lot. Thank you so much. Do you know that woman spent the rest of this morning sending people to TECN? So this is what I want you all to do. Your family and your friends and others, tell them about TECN, get them to come on board, get ready. We're about to do some big things. Stay tuned for Randy and April. I want to thank you all, and I want you to remember, if you don't remember anything else I said to you tonight, remember this. God bless America. It's time for America to bless God. Good night, and God bless you, everybody.